Sorry about that. I had to clear my throat there for a minute. First things first, my name is Kenneth Bird. My company is Crystal Edge Technology Screens, and we are the makers of the Supreme technology and also to the Ambulite Rejection 17. All right, so I did a demonstration, I think, on Christmas Eve. Sorry about that. Usually, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for coming in and watching. I do appreciate that. Piece of something on the screen. I'm trying to wipe it off. Keep forgetting the touch tones. Anything you hit, but pretty much is going to hit anything that pops up on the screen. So I kind of bounced out there for a minute. But I did a demonstration on the 24th. Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot it was the 24th. But thank you all still for coming in and watching. I did appreciate that so much. But anyway, I did a demonstration, and a friend of mine called. He says, "Yo, I like when you basically painted the screen, and then you took the black paint and you smeared it in there, and you just automatically just seen it turning red on camera." So I'm actually going to be doing that today. And I got two other demonstrations I want to do. We're going to be doing more on the motorized projection screen because a lot of people have been asking me about painting motorized projection screens. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go upstairs to the 135 inch. We're going to put 1080p Chrissy versus the 720p Chrissy. I've done a lot of these demonstrations before showing people that the reason why I buy a lot of 720p projectors is because I don't need to use 1080p if I don't want to. All right, so I'm going to set you guys up. Put you right there. Now this screen already is coated with a black and white mixture screen paint. Keep in mind, and I try to explain this. I can't express. Sometimes I try to explain this. No one owns the rights to black and white paint. No one. Period. And like I said, if you were back in the era where I came up at, and if you remember the Galaxy, I think DG 747, 737s, and 757 projectors. These are the projectors that were all the rage around the time when Xbox 360 was big and all that. People were basically investing in these projectors. They were 200 bucks or 180 bucks. And at that particular time, you know, for a projector that was 600 by 800 res would easily cost you an easy $500-600. So they were very expensive to get a projector. And these were really cheap projectors to get. So unless you got one refurbished or someone gave one to you, that's the only way you can get one of the name brands. But other than that, a lot of people were buying these particular Dreamland projectors. That's what the company, those projectors. The only problem with those projectors is they were pretty dim, but at that particular time, everybody was in the dark anyway, so it really didn't make a difference. The problem was just no one wanted to hit a white wall with these things. So at that time, like I said, there was no black screens or dark gray screens. The only screen they had up on the market was Daylight. Had a few screens that were gray, and then you had the top screen on the time. It was a screen called Gray Wolf. Gray Wolf was around $3,000. My friend actually had one. That was a pretty cool screen. So they had something called the YouTube paint, and it was basically where somebody had figured out how to mix, either it was gray or black and white, but it was a cheap paint that you could make, and it made it so that it was affordable for everybody to be able to paint their screens. But like I said, having a great screen at that particular time, people didn't realize contrast and all that stuff would play an important role until screens like Daylight started developing darker screens. Screen Innovation was developing black technology, and then you got around to seeing what a darker screen would look like over a gray screen or a white screen. We start seeing when Black Diamond came into the scene, showing off their technology. So like I said, in order for you to understand what you're selling, you have to go back to the past and see how it all began. I went back farther than that. I studied basically movie reel projections when it started with silent eras. That's what I like to study. So that's how I learned about a lot of this stuff. So anyway, what we have here is, like I said before, is our own form of gray screen paint mixture. Like I said before, I started my company, it was under digital and crystal screen paint, and we had a gray screen paint mix way back in 2009, probably that far back. All right, so let's begin. We're going to unblock my projector, which I'm using a Chrissy, what's my projector here? Chrissy LW 420. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our Crystal Edge. And the reason why I say this is because some people feel that somebody owns the rights to that. They don't own the rights to that. Everybody has the right to black and white paint. Anybody can make it. We're going to be using our Chrissy, our Chrissy, wow. We're going to be using our Supreme Black Ambulite Projection 12. So what we're going to do is, this is a black paint. As you can see, because I'm going to pour some of it out. So you can see that it is black. And when I'm doing this, I suggest people do not paint your screen with a sponge, because I don't want to hear somebody saying, well, you know, I saw you do it on YouTube. I saw you paint the screen with a sponge. It looked perfectly to me. No, do not do that. We don't suggest that. So you can see that it is a black product, as you can see. And the interesting thing about our technology, when we develop it, it has a code in it that allows for the screen to be able to see color, even if the surface is black. Now, when I did this demonstration yesterday, I was going to do it on showing off the difference of contrast levels toward black screen versus gray screens. But I was going to do a star fill demonstration. I thought to myself, the Lord tells me, like, don't do the star fill demonstration. Anyone can do that with black paint. Do something really crazy. Do it with red. So we're going to take this black paint, we're going to smear it against this gray screen, and we're going to produce red, a darker, deeper, richer red. Now, in order to do this, keep in mind, contrast does not produce, they produce deeper reds, but it does not produce brighter levels. White levels, and technology produces whiter levels. The higher the white levels, the more natural the colors become. All right, so let's begin. Let's put you right there. So you can see, I'm going to grab my sponge. Decided to put on a clean shirt. I bought some clean shirts. Usually, when I come on camera, my mom was like, good gracious, do you even care? Like, at one point, I didn't. But anyway, my pants are always going to be stained with paint because I work with paint constantly all the time. So I'm just going to take some of this. I'm just going to rub it right here. Should have had my fan out here too. Use our sponge. Just going to rub it in right in there. On a painter stuff, a pretty cloud. I miss Bob Ross. I used to watch him on PBS constantly all the time. Amazing painter. His house had to be something else. I guarantee it had to be murals all over the place. Like beautiful. I can imagine he probably turned the ceilings at one point into clouds. That'd have been cool to watch. Okie doke. So let me grab a fan so we can dry that. Now, I have this. All right, how did you get tangled around all that? How did that even happen? You got tangled around all that. Okay, so we have this kit that we're going to bring out called the Colossal Kit. It was going to be 2 gallons on that Colossal Kit. Also, too, I got a book. I got to make another thing too. I'm going to talk to some people. Hold on for a minute. Give me a minute. I'll get my camera real quick. All right, so, whoo, man, broke my neck on that one. All right, so, we are going to be, we got to ship out the blackout cloth separately. Those you received order from us and you didn't get blackout cloth, don't worry about it. We have you down. We have your information all down, so you're good to go. We're going to be shipping you out another tracking number with the blackout cloth. Like I said before, the reason why we don't do the blackout cloth, we stopped doing it due to the fact that we had problems with manufacturers or getting their hands on it, and it just delays orders like crazy. So, like, some orders, you know, we can get them out right out the way, but then they have to wait until the blackout cloth gets in. So, as I said before, if you got a package, then come with blackout cloths. We know which ones we sent out. We're going to go in and we're just going to basically send you out another tracking number. You'll get another package sent to you and it will have the tracking number on it. Also, too, I have to add real quick, if you get a package, we send out your package. Say your tracking number says it's still being creative or it hasn't been processed yet. It's not here. Keep in mind, this is the reason why I record all my ship out dates. That's why. I record my ship out dates so that way people can see me taking care of your orders, processing them, and getting them out the door. Now, what happens is because the post office is so overwhelmed, all shipping carriers are so overwhelmed, there are going to be packages that are just not going to be processed right from the door. Your package may sit there for 2 days before they get around to processing. Right now, I'm sitting here waiting for my Power Stone 1 and 2 for me to receive it, and I haven't received it yet. I was supposed to get it way back in December the 11th. Think about it. December the 11th is when I was supposed to receive this item. I'm still getting a little red dot. Not saying it's going to happen to you. It just unfortunately just happened to me. Everybody else that I know, that I come back and I'll check your tracking numbers back and forth to see what's going on. I'm not just sending out your tracking numbers and just leaving it at that. I'll go back and check your tracking numbers to see what's going on. I will see whether or not when they started processing, or I'll just call the branch down in that section, which is almost nearly impossible to do because I've tried to do that many times to just get information online, but I still make the effort to make sure I find out. And if you contact me, you know what I mean, I'll explain everything that's going on. But like I said, that's why I record my ship out dates. Now, for me, on the other hand, my Power Stone 1 and 2, I don't think I'm going to get that. I really don't think I'm going to get it. I've been seeing a red dot for weeks, so I'm not going to go after the merchant. What for? Why would I go after the merchant? The merchant did his job. I paid for an item. He sent me an item. He sent me a tracking number. And right now, the United States Postal Service probably lost my stuff. So I'm just going to basically just buy another one and let them keep the money. Now, keep in mind, on my behalf, if this happens to you, I don't do that. I basically had a customer who one of his, actually, he'll be showing some videos off pretty soon. Of the 12, he's building a customized theater setup in his basement. He's using the 505 Chrissy, and he's also using our black screen paint in his basement. And his problem with him was when I suggested him to go get the 505 Chrissy. It was perfect for what he wanted. We can talk as the paint dries. I love doing this part because you can watch my paint turn red as we have this conversation. So anyway, he bought a Christie 505. He turned it on, and the screen was really, really blurry. And I'm helping him, I'm video chatting with it. I'm like, I can't figure out why his screen is coming out so blurry because I own the exact same projector. And then I say, do me a favor, pull the lens out. So he pulls the lens out, and the lens is like busted in 3 different areas. I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. Your lens is busted. So I got an extra one in the shop. I sent it down to him to get his system set up. And I sent him down his paint. Both items got lost in the mail. Gone. Like, can't figure out where they went. They're gone. So I'm not going to leave him hanging. I can easily say, well, look, I sent you out your merchandise. I don't owe you anything. I could have easily said that. But that I told people, look, it's not, for me, yeah, money's nice and all, but it's more about somebody getting set up and getting that experience of having that home theater set up, which I like to see. So I went on eBay. I found a merchant I've done business with for quite a few times, and he actually sold me the lens for $32. That's where it pays to pretty much, when I go on, you look at my eBay account, and basically first thing it says is quick transaction, because I pay up no matter what. Get it done, get it taken care of, they get their money, get my item, done. So he sent me over one for 32 bucks. I contacted the customer and said, hey, look, I got one for you right here. I'll send you up more paint. Now, that's what I do. I'll send you up. And you can talk to any one of my customers. My customers will tell you out front that, look, I'll tell you, keep the item. Don't send it back. I'll send you another one out. And that's usually how I've been doing it. But this particular fellow, he probably doesn't work that way, you know. Probably doesn't want to burn or make another copy or whatever it was. I think it wasn't the original copy. The original copy would have cost me a lot more money. I forgot the name, what they call them. But it's like a copy version of it, but it's illegal. But anyway, I'm just going to let him keep the money because he did his job. It's not his fault that the Postal Service somewhere along the line lost my stuff. So I'm just going to go back in and just purchase another one from him. If the other one gets here, I'll just basically just give it to my cousin because he has a Dreamcast and he does not have Power Stone 1 or 2, so he go have it. It works out either way. But that's how I see it. I don't never contact the merchant when I am an item that I need to get. I never contact the merchant. I always contact the Postal Service. All right, so as you can see, my black paint that I smeared with a sponge all over the gray screen over here showing you that, yes, our black technology does see color. And you can see that the screen is red. All right. Now, like I said, I don't advise you to go and paint your screen with a sponge, which I just did, and have it sitting right in front of the fan to get dry. Do not do that. Basically, you will jack your screen up. Don't paint it. Oops, sorry about that. The color blue. Take some more of this. Oops, sorry about that. I'm all in the camera. As my screen starts to dry, it is going to get, so the black paint on my rug, like what the freak? It's going to get lighter and lighter as it dries. I had a friend of mine say, you watch the YouTube video watching paint dry. So I've done this before. I've literally actually watched paint dry. And I mean, literally, I've done it without a fan. I've watched the screen dry. Because there's all kinds of stuff you got to test out. Keep in mind, there's all kinds of stuff you got to test out. We're developing a product that basically we needed to put a quick dry solution in it so it would dry extremely fast. And I literally had to sit there and watch the screen literally dry. Now, I've done that. I've had delivery of watching paint dry. I've done it already. And I had to see how fast it would take for it to dry. So we had to do 2 steps. We had to do one to watch how fast it would dry inside, outside, and with a fan. Only thing I don't like about that, if you made any mistakes, that it's going to be like permanently in there, just in there. Okay. Ooh. That's going pretty good. Okay. Red, 2. Right, a little faster. The color green. Flash back and forth. Color red. As screen starts to dry, it's going to get lighter and lighter. See right there. And right there is where the paint is still wet. It becomes dark. As it starts to dry, it gets deeper and deeper reds. Red rose. Nope. It's a guy with the name Red Rose. That is kind of scary. Red rose flower blossoming. What I'm going to do here, watch my screen dry in. While waiting for that, I need to get ready for this one because today we are going to be making the blue version of, actually 17 version of blue, which is going to be processed today. So this screen is going to be converted. Now, because we already have this already in a 15, it's not going to need much. It's going to get an gain advancement boost, which means it's going to have 17 capability. It will still have the same coding as blue, but it's going to be front and rear. One of the things that will be changing, that we'll have rear technology embedded into it. And all the other thing too that we're going to be adding to it, we're actually going to be upping the gain to a 17. Now, because this is in time's coming up, I'm gonna leave it up a little bit. And I don't know what happened. I keep bumping the daylights out of my projector. That's the second time I bumped my projector. I threw it off course. So let me see. I'll throw this on for right now. Mind you, my projector is just warming up, so I'm using 720p. That's my old 720p projector over there. So you can watch that projector warm up. We can go back and forth. If we get good weather today, hopefully we get good weather today, I'll be outside today because I get a chance, every once in a while, I'll get a chance to unwrap my screen that's been sitting outside in all kind kinds of bad weather and watch a movie off of it. So my screen so far has been outside through 2 snowstorms, 3 rainstorms, and some freezing crazy weather. So we'll get a chance to go outside and inspect the screen to see exactly if it cracked or peeled under all that pressure. And that's what I like about my deck screen. My deck screen out there, bottom line is, goes through some crack. Look at like I said already, you can see exactly how much debris and mess and everything else. It was snowing out here at one point. But yeah, I'm gonna get a chance to open it up. See what the weather's gonna be outside today. Gotta remove the screen door today. I bet this is frozen. Yeah, that can get frozen. That's how cold it can get sometimes. Yeah, that has been through some mess. Just there to keep the birds from turning my screen into target practice, which they like to do. I don't know why, but they do. There you are. There's deep red colors. There's my screen activating in the next room, fully lit environment. Nothing but window lights pouring around that screen from edge to edge. You can see that image. Look how much that projector warms up. And I gotta check my lamp light because I've been leaving my projector on all night. So I got a funny feeling that I might be near my bulbs in, which is good because then I get a chance to do another lamp swap out, and I get a chance to show you how that one's going. Let's go into the, let's see. We got the right one? No, we got the wrong one. Well, let's go again. That's fine. I'm going to grab my other remote control here on the floor. Let's go to, let's see. OLED. Take your help. Figure that out. Wait a minute. Oh, it's still wet. Yeah, we're wet. Hold on for a minute. In about a minute here. 1 minute. I'm gonna see something here. We're using a, I got a feeling something got mixed up, and I'll show you why. We got 2 containers downstairs in the shop. One of them has an ultra black kind of, for the 17. There's a chemical that we're making to make the 17 darker than what it is. So it's 3 times darker than a 12, but they want it to be super, super jet black dark. I mean, mysterious black. So there's a chemical we're mixing downstairs to make the surface really, really dark, but we haven't had a chance to add that coating in the height and the white levels. I got to I grabbed the wrong container. Let's see what we got to do. Let's see what's going on here. Because we're going to redo that screen. This is why I got to start marking stuff in the shop. I don't mark any of my experimental paints. I never mark the lids on them. I figure I'm going to remember it from scratch, from the top of my head. And that's a bad idea. So I'm going to show you something real quick. You see all those little containers down there? All those containers are experimental chemicals that I'm working on. Those are different formulas that I'm working on. None of those containers are marked, which I got to start doing. Those are all 17s down there. I just know which one's which because I know about the color. If I stand them up and I look at them, I know exactly what they are. But when you're dealing with black technology, you can't tell one from the other unless you pour them out. That's how you tell which one's darker than the other. Forgot too, we got to repaint this screen today too. This is going to be turned into a blue today. This is going to be redone. So let me see what's going on. Okay. I don't mind doing this today because I'm going to be, like I said, repainting this paint. This paint's going to be a blue today. I got to detach it from the wall. This is not going to be fun to do. And I want to coat this entire area because blue's going to be launching very soon. We'll be getting that taken care of. Let me see what I just did that fast with my, oh, here we go, right here. Let me get a look at this. Yeah. Go. Remote controls. Sorry, people. Bad habit of losing remote controls. This is one of my pet peeves. On the kitchen. That wouldn't be it. Where do you put it at? That's the one for the that's nice. Give me a minute. Lost the remote control. This is what I do. It's my worst things. Here we go, right on the couch. It's a bad thing about having black sofas. different from me, I guess. There we go. Yeah, I definitely can tell. Yeah, I picked up the wrong container because our screens don't come out that dark. No way in the world. I gotta start marking my stuff. Yeah, it happens. Like I said, it happens. But we're trying to make the 17s are dark, but I think I can make that screen a lot darker than what it is. And that's what we're doing. We're actually developing our own pigment to develop, not paint, pigment. We're actually going from scratch, getting a dark pigment, and we're starting from there to develop our own form of black formula for that particular technology. And they're integrating that high grade, probably a layer of coating to whiten or heighten the screen. Because right now, like I said, I don't like to use any form of paint substance because it clouds the image. Let me get me a top for this one. Go right back over there. Over here. A minute. Back over here. Here, wrong code. Let's bring this up over to the color red. Over here, as you can see, it's black. asking you to sign in. No, I do not want to sign in. I'm coming in as a guest. That's the first big mistake. Again, never paint your screen with a sponge. And mark your freaking containers, which I didn't do. Which I should have did. Was mark my containers downstairs. There we go. There you go. That's how it's supposed to react. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm looking at this like, wait a minute. Something is just wrong here. Because no, it doesn't come up that dark. Something is really wrong here. Then I realized that, yeah, on Christmas, I was downstairs changing the code for the black screens to make them darker. Because I figured, look, if I can get away with making the screen that dark and putting a white level that high, how much darker can I make the screen and get away, actually produce a higher white level? So I'm actually downstairs doing some research on pigments and different forms of black formulas, chemicals, powders, and all that crazy stuff to see exactly if we can make our own form of base coating. And that's what we're doing. We're not dealing with, people have to go to, when people do hobby paints, they have to deal with those. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're building things from the ground up. That's how we're doing it. So that's when you got to start cracking open those books, going and doing the research and figuring exactly how things are made and breaking it down and figuring out how to develop it from the ground up. That's what we're doing. My biggest mistake is, anytime I make something, well, God blesses me to be able to make it, the first thing I do is I don't mark my containers. This is a bad idea. I learned to start marking containers. Ooh, I have a bag up here. I have a trash bag up here somewhere. Oh, I forgot to take the trash stuff. That's what I do. Yeah, that's the worst thing. I don't mark my containers. I'm always supposed to mark my containers, but I don't do it because I figure, look, I'm going to remember what it is. One of my bad problems is usually after I make something, and you hear me say on camera, I got to write this down because it was just made that minute, and bottom line is I got to write it down because I will literally forget what I put in it. But, you know, if God put the blueprint in my head and it was meant to be, it's going to be there. Got bounced out. Here we go. Let me get you guys back in. Let me see. Get you guys back in there. There we go. Yeah, I've been going on a Jello diet. And I had to, man. I was picking up some extra weight really quick, really fast. Top of that. Have you ever had prednisones before? Prednisones make you gain weight real fast, real quick. Here we go. Let's do. We got this painted a little better. So what I think I'm going to do for the demonstration, once we get that black to where we want it at on the 17, I'm going to take a sheet, if I can get plexiglass. I was supposed to have this very thin plexiglass coming in, and I'm sitting there waiting forever for it to come up. And then they tell me that, oh, it never left the facility, and it's still in Florida. So I'm like, where is it? Well, we don't have it. They pretty much, well, it was $28 a sheet for a 8x4, which is extremely good. And then I go in there, and they're currently don't have it anymore. And then the next day they have more. Now they're like $150. So go figure. So what I have to do is I need me a nice little piece of plexiglass because I want to coat it with this super black coating. And then what we're going to do is I want just a standalone screen by itself, piece of sheet of plexiglass, nice and smooth. And I want to be able to display that image from the front and the back of it. That's how I'm going to actually start displaying the new 17s. They're all going to be done on plexiglass because you have to be to see the rear capability and the front capability of that technology. There's no point in me doing that on a form of physical screen that only does front projection because you want me to get a chance to see the other part of what that screen can do. The color blue. Okay. Next is we're going to produce, oh wait a minute, let's go over here real quick. I'm going to show you this real quick. That's a 720p projector, fully lit environment. Now mind you, that is 15. That screen is going to have an upgrade of a 17 by today. And it's taking in that much ambient light at 15. Hold on. Contrast levels. Let's go to search. Clear. Like I said, screens are always dark when they're wet. As it starts to dry, it's going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. let me get my paint out of the way too. Sorry about that. Let me get this out of the way because I don't want this to get dry. It's drying out. So let me put this over here. There we go. About that. Next time I'm just going to do a circle, some black circle on the string. Sorry about that. Yeah. Still a little wet. So in order for it to pull a white level, it has to be able to see some kind of white level. It has to. There's no way in the world you could pull up bright colors off a screen if it can't pull a white level. It can't pull a white level, everything would be so dark. Like I said, you wouldn't be able to see it. You see right here, you're supposed to be, you see the detail in the water, you can't see that. Colors are supposed to pop. Anytime I do demonstrations on black screen versus lighter screens, I'm always going to tell you that there's no way in the world possible that you're going to be able to get the same white levels. And this is the reason why I tell people, you know, if you're going to be dealing with black screen, darker screens, or darker technology, things that we develop, then you have to understand, if you're coming off a white screen and you're expecting to see the same white levels on a white screen on the dark screen, don't buy it. Don't bother going peg. Don't even bother going near any of the darker screens in the industry. Don't go near the Black Diamonds. Don't bother going near the Dark Star 9s, any of those darker screens, because you're not going to be able to get that same level. It is virtually impossible. I don't know where people get these ideas from that you're going to be able to maintain a white level the same as a black screen. That's like the equivalence of trying to get a white screen to produce contrast like a black screen. It's just not going to happen. Now, the closest thing we've come to having a black screen to come close to producing a very heightened white level is a 17. They have that capability, but keep in mind at 1%, right now we're trying to get the screen super jet black because we already figured out exactly how to heighten the white levels. And for those who don't believe me, I'll put a link at the bottom so you can check out that demonstration for yourself. Mind you, the 17s already have a record from beating 11 certifieds from the door at 1 to 2%. So they're going to be monsters. They're going to be some interesting screens when they finally peak at 100%. And to think exactly capabilities you'll be doing with a technology that basically can take in that kind of light, produce that kind of white level, that kind of contrast levels, and its front and rear technology. As a matter of fact, I have never put a rear projection screen outside, and that I'm thinking about doing that this summer. Rear projection screen outside. I haven't done one yet. Time to build one. All right, so let's get going. Okay, let's get some OLEDs in there. Oh, wait. Where we're at this. I'm going to bring in Sony contrast. Sony contrast. Weird. Sony contrast demonstration. Good God, I hate this technology sometimes. YouTube Sony contrast demonstration. Voice recognition system has never worked well with anything, not with cell phones. I see people in the post office like, Siri, give me the address, and Siri will give me something completely different that has nothing to do with the address. So this is what I'm trying to explain. Like I said, the black technology, people want those deep dark contrast levels. The screens we develop have that capability. Like the demonstrations that we do on the black silvers. Black silvers are gray screens that produce heavy contrast levels. So let's go in, go to back here, to right there, no, a little farther in. Let's get that whole scenery there, and let's bring it in there, and finish off my screen. As a matter of fact, let's do, I like doing this one. Let's do, No. We'll leave this here. Let me get something else too. Is this screen dry? Let me see something for a minute. Are we dry here? looks like. Let's see if I can bring this down a little bit more to the bottom. See if we can then shift this down some. There we go. So I just want you to look at that bottom half right there. We're going to bring that to life. I'll tell you, I really like it. Actually looks better on this. I'm going to do the Sony Vegas. The Sony Vegas, I like doing that demonstration. It's dark too, but you'll be able to see more of the detail pushed through if I do that one. Sony 4K Vegas.
Getting that from YouTube.
See if we can dig that one up. I think this might be it.
New from the original donut shop.
One-step lattes are so rich and creamy.
Right? Coffee, sweetener, and real dairy. All in one. New one-step latte from the original donut shop. Now there's a great latte you can get at home.
Let's get nice little dark scenery. Let's begin. No, we want the other one. Las Vegas. No, for goodness sakes. God, you two, freaking get to on earth. Like, do you want to sign in? Do you want an account? No, I don't want an account. I got other accounts. I don't need any other accounts. That's not it. There's a beautiful Sony dark demonstration. I freaking love it. And there's so many of these. Four Seasons. I don't want to go there. You know what? This is what we do. 4K fish. YouTube.
Getting that from YouTube.
Bring in the moon. Not what I want. You know what? I'm gonna do what I want to do. Red, the color red.
Getting that from YouTube.
There we go. I have to fight so much on every little thing. Okay. One of those days, people. Everybody has them. Even I have them. Doing a demonstration outside one time. I'll lie to you not. I had a brand new BenQ projector sitting on top of a stand. The wind caught it, knocked it over, broke my projector just like that, right down the middle of the video. I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Keep in mind, when the screens are wet, they are basically darker. I'm not making screen in any form of special formation, just painting it. Right up in front of the camera. See how much more we got left. Very end. Not much. Don't wash my hands. You see any area of the screen that's still wet, comes up dark? Now it starts to dry. We get slide. Look at everything. Recode it again for you. Make sure my hands are a little dry from washing my hands. Back again. Back over it again. Just going right back over it again just to show you. Go right back over it again. I have to clean my foot while that's drying. Everywhere, everywhere. Like a bit of a Picasso. While you're waiting for my screen to come in, this is my downstairs area. Watch some football highlights. There you go. It's over here near the window. Oh man, here we go. Floor. Yeah. I've seen this mess up on my floor. Just gotta show you that blue. That blue is beautiful. Like I said, when I get done, we convert that and get done with that thing, we'll have it up to a 17. You'll see a whole new different screen. I wish I can get a piece of plexiglass that big. Oh, I wish I could. But apparently I can't. Because like I said, because of COVID, it's really hard to get your hands on plexiglass at all, period. And I said, I don't know, I got something that may work. I'm doing a little bit of an experimenting with something and it may work. I'm thinking about getting some of that clear PVC tarp and using that as a form of blackout cloth to build a screen with. Because that stuff, it's not cheap, but it does cost a little bit. But at least you're not going through the whole plexiglass shortage nonsense, because I just can't seem to get my hands on plexiglass for nothing. Like, I just can't seem to get it. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get some of this kind of, it uses vinyl for basically for like for people who have restaurants that want to close them in and they don't want the outdoor elements to get in, but they still want to see out. That kind of material. It's kind of a PVC kind of real thick material. And that's what they use. So that's what I'm going to go out and purchase and build a screen out of that. I'm using that as a form of blackout software. That works out well. That's another version of what you can use to be used for rear projection. Get our screen to go over a little better. There we go. Just fit in there. Bring it up. And the screen slowly drying in front of you, turning red. And now all the crazy stuff you just saw happen in this video, it's going to stay there. There's nothing's being edited out. I don't edit my videos out. Like I said, I had an incident where I had a very expensive BenQ projector. I just bought the projector, set it outside, put it on the stand. Gust of wind came by, boom, and the projector hit the ground. I was like, oh well, that's not going to happen today. So I went out and got me another projector downstairs and set it up. You know what I mean? I've fallen off stuff in videos, tripped over things. I'm not editing that out. Still saw me paint the screen in. You saw the screen just turn basically red on you. So nothing was changed. The only difference is, as I showed you, those containers that I have sitting down there, those are test containers. I never mark my test containers. And right now, after doing the ultra bright and having an ultra bright 17 produce such an insane white level, and thinking like, I wonder if I go darker with this, will the white levels actually suffer? And that's what you have to understand. When you work with black technology, you run the risk of basically the white levels taking a hit and suffering, which means you can have it to a point where it's acceptable and people can see the image and it's nice and all. It's not going to take away from the image. That's what 12s do. But I want something that's going to be like super crazy bright on white levels. So 17s have that capability, but the screen for me is not dark enough. So I want the screen to be super, super jet black. Like that's what I want. People look at it and go, what the freak is that? Like they're staring off into an abyss of blackness. That's what I want. So that's why when I showed you the difference between the 17 and the 12s, it's much darker, but it can be darker than this. So you imagine having this super black wallpaper screen sitting on your wall that just stands out. And the minute you put the projector on, boom, it just blows up the colors and white levels just push off the screen. That's what I want. And I'm almost there. Now we got the white levels down packed on these 17s, but that's what was in that container that I poured onto the screen. It was not labeled. And I'm thinking that, oh yeah, it's just so-and-so. So when I mix stuff, I just grab a container, put it in there, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Don't mark anything. Because I memorized it. But when you're dealing with black technology, you have to remember they all can look the same. And you can have that problem. Well, at least you got a chance to watch me make a major blooper on freaking YouTube Live. So, you know, it happens. Not perfect. I'm not built in with a battery in my back, and I'm definitely on a machine. But I'll let you watch it right there. I painted it in. You watch the fan dry. As I said before, the fan dry. Funny. Ha ha ha. You watch the screen dry. And as I told you, they start off dark. And as they start to dry, they get brighter, as you're watching right now. So like I said, you know, when you're dealing with black technology, it has to have some source of white levels in there. And some people think it is, and honestly, they think it's because you add white paint in there that makes a white level. It doesn't. Now, let me just give you that off the bat. I'll give you a little secret there. It doesn't. You know what white paint does? If you drop it into a black formula, it turns to gray. That's what it does. It takes away from the dark level completely. So you got to figure out a way how to make white light come out of a black surface that has absolutely no form of white in it whatsoever. That's the hard part. Because if you add any source of white into that, any pigment of white, it's automatically going to alter the screen and turn it into a grayish kind of color to it. And the more white you put in it, the more you take away from the black levels. See? That's where it gets complicated. So when I saw, I'm not going to mention his name because I'm trying to keep this peaceful, when I saw you know who with a white container of paint up there, I started laughing because I automatically knew the chemical reaction behind that. If you drop just a little bit of white, anything in there, what you're going to do is you're going to turn that other part that's black, you're going to turn that into a gray. Then you're going to lose your contrast levels. I'm just going back up with gray paint, dark gray paint, pretty much. So that's where coding comes in, which a lot of people don't understand that part. That's where you start cracking open books left and right. You start reading stuff on the physics of light, even sunlight. You start reading the physics of sunlight, how sunlight reacts to color when it actually comes down, and when it hits an object, how does it react to color? How does it change it? Plants are a perfect way to actually study. If you want to learn about sunlight and how things change to color, is actually plant life on the earth. So you have to go farther than just the projector and the projection screen in the home theater room. You have to take it outside the box. You got to take it to another level. That's why as we're having this conversation, you're watching my black screen turn red right in front of you. And you just watched it fade on the other screen. See? So it's more than that. It's just mixing a bunch of products together. You have to understand the physics of light. You have to understand how it all works. The sun basically, well, I'm not going to go into that. Because if I tell you too much of that, you're going to figure it out. But like I said, it's a long path. That's all I got to say. It's not as easy as just blow all stuff together and go, oh, what's it? No, it's a lot of freaking research that goes behind it. It's a lot of work. I've had a few trials and errors. When I don't listen to God and I want to do it my way, I get bunches of errors. When I listen to God, I get it right. That whole I know it all complex doesn't work too well with him. It just doesn't. All right, so we go from there. Let's go from color blue. The right one? Ah, nah. Got my controllers mixed up again. I gotta buy the cases for these things. These things come with cases so you can tell which one's which, and I still can't tell which one's mine. Color blue. Let me see, let's go to our clear, let's go to the 4K, and let's bring up some stuff. So we'll go back to this one again. Sorry, we're going to go back to this one again. I do apologize. We'll go back to some other ones. We'll go back to this one. I'll bring it down a little bit more. There we go. We can turn this thing off. There you go. You have to be at a poor white level. That's the thing. Without the white level, like I said, the image is going to come up too dark and you're not going to be able to see it. And do not paint your screen with a sponge. Don't do that. I do that in demonstrations sometimes, but don't do that. You get a better performance out of a roller, which you just saw. You don't want to use sponges. I use sponges if I'm doing a fixed frame screen and I need to get into that corner area and I can't get into it, then I'll take a sponge and I'll swab it in air. And then I go back over with the roller. Now, as I said before, now if you're comparing this to a white screen, these are people who contact me and say, hey, the white levels aren't as wide as a white screen. This is not the paint for you. This is not for you. We don't just develop all black screens. We have the black silver, perfect screen. High white levels, fantastic contrast levels. That's a good screen if you're coming off a white screen. But if you're expecting that to be the same, no, that's like somebody, like I said, same scenario. If you're trying to get a white screen to produce a contrast level as black screen, not going to happen. It's just never going to happen. Well, really can't really say that. Again, I might be talking too much. Nah, we ain't got that capability. No way. Like I said, all things are possible. I really can't say that, but for right now, no, we don't. No. All right, let's get some brighter colors in here. Let's we're gonna go back to this one, like this one, because the colors are bright. But we'll go with some other ones too. Like I said, the white levels are not going to be like, oh, I can't see the screen. It's so dark. You're not going to have that problem. It's just not going to be as bright as a white screen. But like I said, in the description, it says nothing that is going to disrupt your picture quality. And as we both looking at this is not disrupting your picture quality. Now, sorry to say, on the day is the 26th, which means our Christmas sale is going to be ending at around 12 o'clock tonight. We'll be putting the prices back and the blackout cloth will be removed. As for the Colossal kit, which is that 2-gallon kit, we're going to wait until summertime to bring that out, and we're going to change out the screen. So what I mean, we're going to change out the screen. We're going to change it out to an outdoor screen with grommets. Because, people are going to want to have massive giant screens, or maybe you want multiple screens. I mean, I know a fellow has a 235 in his backyard, and he has a 16:9 in the backyard. They have the seats where they want to sit out and they want to watch the movie and widescreen format, and then they have another one set up for 16:9 format for gaming and stuff like that. So we're going to bring that Colossal kit out. We're going to change a few things on it. We're going to add in probably 150-inch grommet screen for free. And we're going to add in, for the big brick of lights, they're going to be weatherproof. So, if you want to set up your outdoor cinema, you got weatherproof LED lights, and you got a 150-inch screen to play around with. And I will put a tutorial video in there, or CD, or whatever I got to put in there. Maybe you can go to our website and click on that, and we'll put a tutorial on how to paint the screen. So, stuff like that. Let me show you how beautiful the white levels come up. Well, I just may wait, and I gotta wait about a while though for that to wait. I want to turn this into a black 17. I really do want to turn it into a black 17. But man, if I want to, truthfully, to tell you the truth, I would love to be able to get a piece of plexiglass that would be 138 inches at a 235.1. That would be amazing to have, because the border is driving me freaking crazy. You don't understand. I can't stand borders on my screens. I hate them. I like to have that sleek look. No borders, nothing. That's what I like. I have black screens. But this screen, unfortunately, they don't make a 235.1 borderless. So, I had to get the silver ticket. If I can get me a sheet of plexiglass like that, oh, heck yeah. I definitely would have had that already set up. All right, let's bounce out of here and let's go over to this one.
Now, get iPhone 12 on the 5G America's been waiting for.
This new iPhone Plus price at 5G is incredible.
Switch and get iPhone 12 on us. Unlimited plans start at just $35. This is 5G from America's most reliable network.
Now you can see the multi shades of white. You can see the white here, his white color changes to a little bit of a tannish here. And then you see the white around the snow area. So there's multiple shades of white that the black screen is picking up. But like I said, if you're going to paint half the screen and then put it against your white wall and go, oh, it's not the same. No, it's not the same. You're not going to be able to produce a white level. Technology is not going to produce a white level next to a white gray screen or a lighter gray screen or none of that because it's a black screen, all right? But as I said before, standalone by itself, it holds its weight when it comes to white levels, when it comes to producing color and, you know, beautiful colors and white levels. It's standalone, it holds its weight. You can see the image with no problem whatsoever. But if you're doing it on that level, of course. That's like if I were to take your gray screen and go, let's see what happens if I pull a pitch black star field demonstration. Let's see if you could pull that same level. There's no way in the world you're going to be able to do that. But the advantage point of black technology is the fact that it does pull an amazing white level, or 12s pull an amazing white level, where, look, as you can see the image with no problem. But we can do something that other screens can't do. We can pull heavy contrast levels, and they can't do that. Come out of Mr. Woofers. Mr. Woofers! I swear if I had a freaking wolf, I would name it Mr. Woofers. I would give it the most craziest name ever, because, you know, I'll be out in my backyard and somebody would come over and start arguing, like, Mr. Woofers! And they think it's like be a small pool to be a full-grown freaking Siberian freaking wolf come running around the corner. Like, oh, shoot. It's like, I remember, I don't know if you guys are from that era. I don't know. If you remember Magnum PI, those who may remember that show back in the day, and the rich fellow who hires him to be this detective had these two Dobermans. These things were freaking vicious Dobermans. And they had the most funniest names, like Fluffy, and it was something like Cotton and Fluffy. It was these weird names he gave them. And so when he first goes out, when you see the first beginning of the pilot, when he first goes out to his house, you know, investigate something, I guess in the end this guy ends up hiring him, whatever. But they get into this little dispute, and the guy says, well, I'll go call my dogs. So he's very proper. You know, I'll go call my dogs. And the guy was telling him, like, you know, go call your dogs. And he goes Fluffy or some Princess or Fluffy. It was these real strange names. And he starts laughing like, yeah, they're probably going to be like these pools. They were like full-grown Dobermans that came flying around the corner. And he was like, oh, shoot. But I thought that was really funny to give a dog of that caliber such a cute and cuddly name. And then when you see it, you're like, oh, that's not a princess at all right there. That's a Cujo. Yeah, it's pretty much. I thought that was pretty hilarious at that part. I think I'm going to go back. I like to watch the old shows. I go back and watch Columbo, Magnum PI's, Murder, She Wrote. I watch all the old ones from back in the day. I love how penguins walk. They got their arms back and they're rocking back and forth. A lot of people think that Jesus doesn't have a sense of humor. Actually, when in the Bible it says when Jesus saw the platypus, he laughed. He found the platypus to be interesting. So I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. I celebrate Christmas a little different. I look at Christmas as Jesus' birthday, so I have a birthday for Jesus. That's what I have. This is his birthday, you know. I have some people talk about how they get upset when people miss their birthdays, don't remember them, and how they get upset, and they get on Facebook and they get to getting upset because somebody forgot their birthday. I said, well, people forget Jesus' birthday every Christmas. Every Christmas. They go out and do everything and they forget it's his birthday. How many people sit there and say, hey, Jesus, happy birthday? But, you know, interesting how we remember him when we're on an airplane, God forbid, and it basically hits turbulence and it's crashing and plummeting to the earth. Oh, then we remember. We definitely remember that. But like I said, every once in a while, just say, hey, thank you, Jesus. It's a wonderful thing to say. It's not a bad thing to say. I pray when I go to restaurants. I was on a date with someone and I was in a restaurant, food was served to me, and I started praying over. I prayed, thank the Lord for my food. And the date I was with, she found that to be embarrassing. And I automatically knew from the door that wasn't the person that I should be with. I decided to go about my merry way. But yeah, pray for your food. Shoot, I used to work in the food industry, man, and I can tell you stories, man, and you would never go near food ever again. It's not what you think it is. It really isn't. In the back of the kitchen, I mean, very few places I worked at, and I know it has nothing to do with what I always like to talk about certain things as we go along watching videos, but certain things I've seen, and I'm pretty sure some people could agree with me, they've seen some things. Pretty much in any establishment you work at, you're always going to have that one particular worker that's just really not going to take his job seriously. So, you know, just don't want to pray on that to happen on that day. You just happen to have that particular worker who came in on that day who just particularly doesn't really respect his job. But, you know, it happens in every workplace you work at. That's why I pray over my food. And to be thankful. So we're going to tie the 17s. We're going to tie something to those. We're going to tie to the 17s. We're going to tie several charity groups with the 17s. We're going to do some with the 12s and the other paints we make. We might just do it with everybody. We might just basically every the money that I make from it, you know what I mean? Like I said, some of the money that I get from it, I'm going to put it toward charity groups. I mean, why not? I mean, God has blessed me to live in a very nice place. He's taken care of me. And my health has been okay. So, you know, why not? Should have did it a long time ago. Yeah, it's time to start doing things a little differently and start giving back. Because I figure, you know, I spend $50, $60, $70 on a video game and $150 on a projector. That's $150 that could go on somebody's dining room table. I mean, I got more than enough for what I need. I don't need anything else. So I think after the holidays, I got to get on the phone. I called a few places, but I get on the phone, call a few places where I can start donating some money to different charity groups. I would love to have a coral reef, but number one, don't like water. Number two, I heard it's a lot of work. I watch people have them in their homes. I'm like, good gracious, like all that work. Like, I guess you got to have a professional go in there and do that for you, because I'd wreck it. I wouldn't have the capability to do so. I'm just going to a certain demonstration. This is a long demo. I've actually ran this thing one time. I went upstairs and ran it so people can watch it off one of the screens. Bring this down a little more for you guys. Here we go. So like I said, it's an easy process to paint. It's not that hard, you know what I mean? It's just that me, Mr. Dumb Doodle-Little, went downstairs and grabbed the wrong container, which I shouldn't. I got to start marking myself, which that is something I need to do today. I need to go into the shop, clean it up. The shop is clean, but I need to organize everything in the shop. Sorry, go down there with a Sharpie and just start organizing everything. And like I said, if the black screen's not for you, then like I said, we have the black silver. Maybe the black silvers may not be dark enough for you, so we have a platinum eclipse. That's a very, very dark gray screen. Those are really nice to have. And then we had the new 12 golds, which are, whew, I got one of them upstairs in my Japanese tea room. Now, I'm going to pause it there for you people. I'm going to go grab a gray certified screen by Elite Screens. If I have it, if I don't, we'll have to use a cinema gray, because I can't find it. I don't know exactly where I put that one at. We'll have to use this one instead. Chances are it's probably upstairs somewhere, but I don't know where it's at right here. So we use a cinema gray. That's what we want to use right there. All right. So we do a comparison. Well, as I do the comparison right there. And for those of you who don't know, for the back of this, but I don't show the back off too much. This has a 1.5 gain with a viewing angle of 80 degrees. Okay. Right there. Now these are. Don't have a problem with ultra short those. We're not using ultra short though in the demonstration. And for those who want to know what the screen is made out of, it actually made out of several blocks of styrofoam wrapped together with tape, all-purpose tape. All right. So like I said, our white levels are not going to be as high as a light gray screen, but we're going to be to produce better color, contrast levels. And like I said, it's not going to be something where the image is going to be so washed out that you can't see it, or the image is so dark you can't see it. See where the screen is producing better color, because it's a darker screen, it produces much better color pop. Now upstairs, I do have a 98-inch or 92-inch motorized projection screen. We'll do some demonstrations off that later on because a lot of people ask about painting motorized projection screens. Motorized projection screens are very easy to do. Whether you got it laying against your wall, you got it laying on the floor, pretty much very easy to do. Go out and get yourself some frog tape. I like the green kind, that's what I like to use. And what you want to do is, as you're tracing out your screen, you want to make sure that when you're tracing the frog tape down the border of your motorized screen, just make it like less than an inch. That's all you want, less than an inch away from the actual screen itself. And then what you'll do is you'll put that tape border all the way around. Then when you get to the top area, you want to put a couple of strips across, like maybe 3 or 4 strips across, maybe all the way up to where you have the where the motor comes out of the casing. Because the reason why you want that there, because just in case if you're painting and you slip, you don't want to hit that black area over top, that black border, because that'll mess your whole screen up. So just put an extra couple pieces across there to protect that area. Do the same thing all the way around, and then the bar that comes down that keeps it from actually being fed all the way into the casing, tape that off too. Because like I said, as you're rolling down, you might bump and you might hit that. So you want to tape everything off from there to there. And when you're done, make sure you take your fingers, run it around the edges, so you make sure you got a nice seal. Roll it in, roll it the second time, peel it off. It's done. That's it. Let it dry for about an hour and you're good to go, and you can roll it back up over and over and over again. So I had some people saying, well, should I get this screen? Man, probably the cheapest screen you can get your hands on. You're painting over it. Unless you're going with tension. Now, if you're going with a tension screen, most people like them because tension screens, when they come out nice and flat. Always flat to the wall, but tensions are going to cost you a little bit more money. As in, when you get to the regular screens that are not tension, the bigger the screen, the heavier chance you have of getting the ripple effect in your screen. And that's where the screen comes down with a bit of a wave in it, and that basically can distort your image. More likely, it's going to distort your image even higher with an ultra short throw. With a long throw, not as much. Ultra short throws, I've explained to people, if you don't think your walls are perfectly flat, how you find that out? Take an ultra short throw and throw it against your wall. If your walls are crooked, the image is going to come out crooked on an ultra short throw. So that ultra short throws, that surface has to be flat, perfectly flat, in order for you to do that. Now, if your walls are flat, hey, knock yourself out, paint it on the wall. I would. Other than that, just get a fixed frame screen and just paint it and use that instead. Or build your own screen, the bottom line. That's the way you want to do it. But other than that, if you're doing motorized is very easy to do. Now, if you're going to spray it on, depends on how big your screen is. Like, your screen's probably like, well, if it's 180 inch, you can still roll a 180 inch screen. But I mean, if you're going to way beyond that, then I guess I would spray it on. But other than that, if you're going to spray it on, you're going to have to wrap that entire casing, everything in plastic. You're going to have to treat it like a crime scene, pretty much. So you don't want any fluids or any liquid blowing up underneath your casing into that motor, because then that's it. So that's one of the things, if you're going to spray it, make sure all that's covered in plastic. But you're better off rolling it. It's much easier to do. And if you're doing a surface like I did with the silver ticket over here, some fixed frame screens come with a form of coating on top of the screen to protect the screen's coating, right? So it's kind of hard to marry our formula to it. It can be done. So I tell people, like one guy painted the screen, and when you paint the screen, you'll see the white part start to separate our paint, and you'll see these little big white spots all over the screen. I've done this demonstration already. That's just the coating fighting with our formula. So what you want to do is just put a light coat on it. Nothing heavy, a nice light coat. And once you apply a nice light coat to it, what happened? What went on? Oh, commercial just popped up. So what you want to do is put a light coating on it. That's all you want to do. Do not paint the screen in. Put a light coating. All you want to do is just lay a nice foundation on it. Doesn't make a difference if you got white spots in there. Don't worry about that. Just put the light coating on it. Once the light coating dries, then you go over top of it, and then it actually turns into that. That's all you got to do. But some people go over and over again, and no matter how much paint you put on it, it's going to keep fighting. It's going to keep separating because you're working with a formula against another formula. Put the top coating on it, let it dry, let the foundation apply, and then go over it. Boom, gone. Very easy to do. I think I may have. Let me see. I got two screens. It's actually two screens that fought me on the coating. Silver Ticket was one of them, which is the one I have over here. Did I have that problem with Elite screens? I don't know. I think I did have that problem with Elite screens. But the generic screen I bought upstairs, the 92-inch and the one actually laying against my gaming room, no, didn't have that problem. Boom, 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 boom. One over top of one coat, done. That was it. They were easy screens to paint. But I think I may have a piece of the Elite screen. I'm going to do one. I'm going to actually show you. I'm going to do one. I'm going to staple it down to something, roll over top of it. You're going to watch the screen expand, the paint expand on the screen. You're going to see little white spots on the screen. When that dries, we're going to go over top of it. We're going to do that demonstration. But I tell people, when it happens, don't worry. Don't use all your paint. Don't go crazy on it. Don't just go painting over the screen just to cover it up. No, because no matter how much paint you apply on it, it is going to separate. You have to lay the foundation first. But we'll do one. I got to start putting this stuff on the website so people can go and go, okay, there we go. All right, so let's bounce out of this one. Or we'll do a little bit of this right here. So keep in mind, once our sale is over, I think our one quarts go back up to, I think they're 138 or 142 around that price. Keep in mind at 142, that is still extremely crazy cheap. And I'll tell you why. Because that sample sheet that you're seeing right in the center of my screen, as I said before, for 100 inch, just 100 inch. would cost you $1,300 to $1,400. When our technology at 1 quart is going to paint you not only 100-inch, but up to 120 inches. So keep in mind, if 100-inch of that screen is going to run you $1,300, $1,400, 100-inch, what do you think it would cost you if you got 120-inch? You know, way lower, higher than that. And you're not getting contrast. That's definitely not going to happen. So let's go over. Got some lighter colors out of there. Let's go toward. We'll do this one again right here. And I don't mind showing you the white levels. I don't. I've already told you before that our white levels are good on a standby by themselves, but I'll show you our white levels next to the elite screen. That's not a problem for me to show you that. It's going to pull a much higher white level. That's true. Like I said, I already said it already. It's going to pull a higher white level, but you're going to lose contrast. You're going to lose color. All that's going to go. As you can see, our white levels are not at the point where, like I said, the individuals have painted them to be so dark you can't see the screen. You can see the screen with no problem. But as I said before, you got to have a perfect balance. If you don't have a perfect balance in there, you're going to have a problem. It means if your white levels are too high, they're going to suffer someplace else. So if we go to no, I don't want that. Thank you. We're at the end of this video or at the beginning of this video? Okay, cool. And that's where your white levels are going to suffer at. Or actually, the screen's going to suffer. It's not able to pull that deep contrast. And last time I was in here, I was talking to this fellow, really cool dude. We were talking about if they turned Grand Theft Auto into like a Left 4 Dead kind of zombie game. That would be freaking amazing. I haven't played, and well, maybe it's just me, but I haven't played too many zombie games where you can actually drive cars and airplanes and all that stuff around. That'd be so freaking cool, man. Of course, you know, if you're going to make a game where you're going to have the ability to take flight, because pretty much what people can do, they can just take flight and just basically just pretty much skip most of the levels, you know, and just drop off at the safe house. So you have to make it interesting. You have to make things in the air that could literally just take them down. Make it a hazard for them to fly. Like, you know, if I really want to fly, you know what I mean? That's like an automatic death sentence. You know, you could have some giant birds up there waiting for you, or something that evolved into something that shouldn't be up there to begin with, you know, freak of nature. They should make it that way, you know what I mean? If you go into the ocean, people want to try to take boats. We're going to do shortcuts. I'm known for shortcuts in games, all right? I'm known for shortcuts. So I'll pretty much just trying to find areas in the game like, okay, look, I mean, heck, if I don't have to travel on foot, and I know I'm going to have to go through a ton of zombies on foot, then I'm going to take a boat or I'm going to take a plane, because the odds of me bumping into something on the water is going to be pretty rare. But then that's when you have to do things like put things in the water waiting for you, like, you know, things that have evolved into bigger and worser creatures in the water waiting for you, like a zombie shark or a zombie octopus or something crazy. And you all have to work together as a team, you know what I mean, to pretty much muddle through that craziness, you know. The whole 4-on-1 is beautiful, but I would love to have an 8-on-1. 8-on-1 team. Everybody has a special skill that they can use. One person might be good for medic. Another person might be good for freaking setting up the fence. Oh man, that'd be sweet. Man, that'd be really sweet. I would love that, man. Can you imagine like flying on this massive giant bird and you got a gunner in the back, you got this huge giant massive freak of a zombie eagle flying at you, you know what I mean, breathing fire. Just thinking off the top of my head, but I think it would be a pretty cool game. It'd be berserk beyond Grand Theft Auto, but I mean, it'd be kind of cool though. Can't argue about that one. Can't no one say that won't be cool. Ought to be on there with everybody. Everybody. I definitely would build a server for that one. I would definitely build a server for that one. I just bring clan. We have huge, massive clans and a zombie clans in there. I'd definitely build a server for that one. Put up a sign-up sheet and everything. Like, come on, log in. Let's all go play. I miss Left 4 Dead so much. Oh my goodness. I can't believe they're going to come up with a game called, if you never heard of a game real quick called Back 4 Blood, if you're a huge Left 4 Dead fan, I would suggest you checking that out. That game looks freaking amazing. Oh, I cannot wait for that to come out. I know I'm supposed to be talking about screen paint, but keep in mind, I'm a gamer. I love freaking video games, okay? So, I incorporate my technology and everything. I got several gaming rooms upstairs, and I have movie screens down here, All right, let's do. So we already seen already, like, differences in this, for you guys. And we'll do one more. Then I'm going to get some breakfast, something to eat. And then later on the day, we'll do the side-by-side projectors. We'll do the 720p Chrissy and the 1080p Chrissy side-by-side. I won't show you which projector, which one is which. And this is when I explain to people when they say that, well, I don't want to buy a 720p projector because I'm not going to be able to get that performance. I'm like, nah, you are going to be able to get that performance. It's pretty much the screen that's not giving me the performance. So I've done this demonstration multiple times. So we'll do it on that. Let's go over here. I like to bring up that one video under JNR. I like those. As a matter of fact, hold on for a minute. I'm going to do this real quick. Sorry about that. That's Cinema Grade 5D. Let's put that right there. Let's take our Dark Star 9. Let's put that right there. So keep in mind, those of you not familiar with the Dark Star 9, there's a $3,000 projection screen. And then we'll take I think it's a Parallax. Parallax, I think is what it is. But I butchered it, man. I do a problem. I had it right at one point. I was saying it right at one point. But wait a minute. Before I do that, let me show you what it is. So no one's out of the loop. So there you go. This is what we test our screens against, other high performance screens. I prefer to do it that way. Because then I have people who call me up and say, yeah, I saw that demonstration. Are you testing against that high-end screen? And say, well, one guy was actually going to go out and spend the money. Sorry, Daylight. He was going to go out and pay the money for that screen. And it was going to save them a lot of money. 0.9 gain, 180 viewing angle. There you go. You see that. So I said before, when we did the 11 certified screens, then I told you that a lot of our screens, or actually all of our screens, have to go through these demonstrations. That's why I have a drawer full of sample sheets, because I have to test my screens against all these screens. So you're looking at a paint that will cost you $148 a quart to paint a 100-inch to 126-inch, compared to a screen that would cost you $5,000, $1,400, and $3,000. Oh, here we go from the door. Let's see what's going on with that one. Roll the time inside to move itself. Now, I get some people, they get a little upset when I say $100 and something. Let me explain something to you. If you don't know anything about the home theater world, it's expensive. It is very, 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 very expensive. I have friends of mine who have $200,000 to $300,000 audio systems. Audio systems. No TV, not the whole TV, but no audio systems by themselves. You can spend some serious, serious money when it comes to home entertainment. All right. So compare the fact that I can sit up here and show you almost near close to about quite a bit of money for these projection screens, and I can show you a product. Not only doing this at way below the price of what these screens will charge you, but the fact that some of these screens are not even ultra short throw compatible, which means if you have an ultra short throw projector and you put it against one of these screens, you run the risk of your screen turning dark on you, which means now you're going to have to go out and you're going to have to spend the money for an ultra short throw compatible screen for one of these companies. And I guarantee you it is not going to be cheap. It's going to be quite expensive. So consider that fact. Also consider the fact that with my technology, if you want, you can take it outside. Out there on my deck, I have a 135-inch black screen that I can watch outside. If I want to watch the football game, I can go out there and watch the game if I want. You're not taking these outside. They have a particular screen designed for these screens for outside. I think Elite Screen has something called the Yard Master. That screen's white. We all know what's going to happen when we test that one next summer. It's not going to go too well because our screens produce contrast and white levels outside in earlier hours where these screens can't even pick up. So that means when you want to start that party off, you're going to be starting that party off around 9 and 10 o'clock. And still at 9 and 10 o'clock, your colors are still going to be all there. Not even your contrast, no matter what projector you got. So consider that, all right? Because keep in mind, like I said, these companies, they'll sell you a screen. Somebody said, well, I got a screen from them for $130. It was probably a white screen because that screen behind you right there, that's an Elite Screen right there. That screen sitting outside on my deck, that's an Elite Screen right there. That's a silver ticket right there. This screens don't do, this is a white one, a white silver ticket. All these screens used to be white. So I went out and bought the cheapest screens and converted it into my technology, which I'm using right now. And that one's about to go too. I don't want to be there. So, as I said before, they're going to tell you, when you get that product, and not to ramble on here, they're going to say you have to use this in an ambient light controlled environment. If you have too much light in the environment, it's going to cause too much light to reflect off the screen, and that's going to cause the screen some complications. If you go in there and tell them that, hey, I got a 720p projector, they're like, no. We suggest you get a 4K projector. They're going to put you in a direction of a projector that's going to easily cost you $3,000 with no problem. That's what you're going to be looking at. And then mind you, if you get a projector that's going to cost you $3,000, chances are it's going to have some crazy sound system chip inside of, which means you're going to have to go out and buy the speakers to match with it, because if not, you're going to have something called a sound delay. With 1 minute, you're going to hear it here, and a split second, you're going to hear it. So it's like an echo effect going off of your room. It's like trying to hook up Dolby surround sound to a 7.1. You know what happens when you do that, right? It causes the delay in sound by a split second, but it's enough to be annoying as I don't know what. So yeah, so it's kind of like you're going to end up spending a lot of money, all right? Where upstairs, I have a system that costs me, an ultra short throw system that costs me under $600, and I can take on any one of these screens in a fully lit environment, and they can't. But just letting you know, that's what's going to happen. And if they feel the need that I'm wrong on this, I challenge them to do a Starfield demonstration outside, which they can't do. I can say 100% my black screens will pull contrast level way higher than their screens. And they couldn't even argue that down. I said, what's the point of giving you a projector saying, yeah, it has a 10,000 to 1, 20,000 to 1 contrast level, if you're never going to see it? So I got customers, like I said, that can afford $10,000, $15,000, $60,000, $70,000. They can afford it. Now, just because they can afford it don't mean they want to spend it. At the end of the day, don't mean they want to spend it. If I can figure a way where they could do it for less, yeah, they'll do it for much less. For much less. This is why I think the end of next year, we're going to start doing showrooms. So we got an idea. We're going to do these showrooms, and it's still going to be crowd controlled. Trust me. Because even though there's a vaccine for it, I'm still going to have crowd control on that. So we're just going to make it so when people come in to check out our merchandise, they get these giant screens on displays, want some outdoor screens on displays, and they can come in, they can look at the technology up front and personal. And if they want to order it, they can order it by going to the website. We have a mobile app. They can go to the mobile app and they can order from there, or basically they can go to one of the kiosks and they can basically go in and put their information. They can order the product from there. But yeah, we're going to have that set up like that. We're probably going to give 2 or 3 of them to start off with, and that way people can come in and check out the item. They can check out the technology up front and personal. Because I told you, we're coming out with our own form of motorized projection screens. There's a 21 of this technology being developed, and it's strictly being designed to take on these guys. So if they think the 12 is a nightmare already, wait till they see the version we got that's actually coated with that sun killer technology in it. Now keep in mind the 17s that we have downstairs, each screen took 1 hour to develop. 1 hour. And at 1 to 2% already did 11 screens certified with no problem. 11 screens certified is they went against 11 certified screens, and they were either to match them or actually overpower the screen. And that's at 1 to 2%. And then we have a technology, that's coding technology. They have 100% code in them. So we take that 100% code and we stick it with that nightmare ambient light rejection technology that took that direct hit from sunlight, and we designed that screen. What do you think you'll have? And keep in mind, at the 12 is only 12, and it has a smidgen of that code technology. And look what it's doing already. So what do you think a 21 would have the capable of doing? It's like battling the Death Star at 60 times its mass. Now, it took 1 hour to develop the 17s. This screen is going to take 1 year to process. So in 1 year's time of developing the ultimate screen, what do you think that thing's going to turn into? It is going to be the ultimate monster. I'm telling you. God, I can't wait. I can't wait. It is going to be a beautiful thing. I might even cry. All right, with that being said, thank you all for your time. And the beautiful thing about it is it's going to be affordable. Everybody can have it. All right, gotta go, and God bless.